let's meet your Mantachi Mud Dogs.
Baseball is a game. There are winners and losers, but no matter the outcome, life goes on. And while baseball may only be a game, there are times when its impact reaches beyond the diamond, over the fence, and into our lives. Such is the case for Sam Ferris, a Mississippi boy whose life was saved by a baseball diamond.
Sam was born on January 26, 1996. Sam was just a perfectly healthy baby.
Growing up, my life was pretty much normal as any other small town Mississippi boy's life would have been. I had an undying love and passion for baseball over the other sports. Even when it was out of season, I was still practicing it to get better, and it was always the season I looked forward to the most.
We had a chocolate lab at the time, and he would spend hours outside in the front yard with the lab playing ball, just the two of them. He'd hit the ball, Dixie would run after it, he'd run the bases. It went over and over and over.
Dixie never quit.
She didn't quit. She'd play as long as he did.
We weren't able to really do too much together until he started playing baseball. Really was the main thing. He was getting into Little League. And so when he started getting into it, I was happy he was getting into it, something I could do with him. And it was about that time that he got sick. It came to a screeching halt, really. Our relationship was just getting started when everything kind of just stopped.
In 2004, Sam began to experience spells of sickness.
He would vomit for sometimes hours, sometimes shorter periods of time, and then it would just go away. It seemed like everything was okay.
That was pretty much it. It was every 3 or 4 months it would happen. 3 days later it would be gone. So it was just a part of my everyday life, really.
Sometimes it would happen once a week for a few weeks, and then we might go 6 weeks without him having an episode. But Sam asked me one time, he said, "Mom, do you think I have cancer?" And I said, "No." I said, "Because if you did, you would never get better. You would just keep getting worse and worse." And he would have weeks sometimes at a time when he would seem normal.
His symptoms would continue, and Sam would continue playing ball. It wasn't until August of 2006 that the Ferris family would discover the true cause of Sam's illness.
I woke up one morning at my grandmother's house and my breathing was worse. I would take 2 steps and I'd be worn out and have to stop and breathe. And she said, "We're going back to the doctor."
And my mother-in-law called and she said, "We're going for a CT scan." And I said, "Do I need to come?" She said, "No, I'll call you when we get done." And about an hour later, I got another phone call at work and she said, "You need to get here." And I said, "What's wrong?" And she said, "Just come." When I walked into the room, you could see it on everybody's faces. You know, they didn't know what to say to me. And I went back to the room and the radiologist had the picture pulled up on the screen, and you could see this huge glob in his chest that was compressing his lung to about half the size that it should be.
I remember going to the hospital in Memphis and Mom crying and Dad getting there and him shedding a few tears and everybody else that was there was crying and upset about it. And I don't remember ever crying or getting emotional. I don't think it really dawned on me how serious it was, even though the mass was obviously so large.
His diagnosis was grim. It was cancer. Stage 4 neuroblastoma. It had spread throughout his body, and his chance of survival was nearly impossible. Sam and his mother moved into St. Jude's Target House, where Sam would spend the next 15 months battling cancer.
And then they pulled us into a room with Sam and sat down and went over everything. And when the doctor explained the protocol and how long it was going to last, that it was a 2-year treatment, that's when Sam broke down for the first time.
The doctor looked at me and he said, "Realistically, you'll probably be here for 2 to 5 years, assuming that you actually live past the first year, which is beyond unlikely at this point."
You want to do something to fix it, and you can. And so you have to school yourself as best you can. You have to try to be strong for the child, and you have to try to make life as normal as you can even though there's nothing normal about cancer treatment.
Sam's chemotherapy treatments were brutal, and they would take their toll on the entire Ferris family.
For my 21st birthday, I went up to Memphis, up St. Jude, and he was in treatment all day. That was the roughest I'd ever seen him look. Just sitting there, he was connected up so much stuff. All of his hair was gone, obviously, and it was my birthday. My mom wanted it to be my birthday, but it just wasn't right. That was the hardest point for me. I was trying to be normal and he was trying to be normal, but there's nothing normal about his life.
On November 3rd, 2006, after 3 months of chemo, Sam would undergo major surgery to remove his cancerous tumors.
The day that I laid him on that stainless steel table to be cut open, that was tough.
His surgery lasted about 9.5 hours. It was a long day. He was cut all the way across here and up his side, and it was tough.
Sam would endure another year of chemotherapy and radiation treatment at St. Jude, all the while using baseball as his escape.
Baseball. We talked about baseball all the time because he was most of the time confined to small areas, but he had TV and he had games and stuff like that. He kept up with baseball.
When he did feel well enough to get out and go somewhere, and if it was during baseball season, we were at the Redbird Stadium. Just at the last minute, he'd say, "Let's go to the game." And we'd get in the car and go down to the ball field, and he might only feel like staying for 2 innings. And he'd get tired and say, "I gotta go." But he loved baseball so much that that was his little getaway.
During his time in treatment at St. Jude, Sam was introduced to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It was in 2007 that Sam would make a wish that would alter the course of his treatment.
He said, "I'd like to have my own baseball field." He said, "I want to be able to walk out my door at home and play ball anytime I want to."
Wow, big wish, a very big wish. And it was one of those you had to kind of step back and go, how can we make this happen? Because it's something we pride ourselves on. We want to grant the one true wish of a child. The wish coordinator, Tracy, worked on the wish, and so she just started making phone calls, and one person got excited and they said, "Well, have you thought about calling them?" And then it just kind of snowballed, and everyone that we talked to wanted to be a part of it because it was such a unique wish.
How do you build a baseball field? I couldn't picture in my mind where it was gonna face, where if we faced it this way, then the balls would go through the windows of their house, and there were trees all over the place. The ground was uneven. I didn't know how to start. Someone just happened to mention calling the grounds crew. They completely built the field.
The first time that we saw the land was a few pine trees, overgrown, so we pushed everything up and hauled off all the undergrowth and got it down to bare dirt, and then we was ready to engineer it and lay it out and get ready to roll.
Well, the guys from OMSP came out and did almost everything.
groundwork,
They did all the groundwork, and they made sure the other people who were installing things knew where to put what. Because some of the folks were just volunteering their time and effort.
It was a constant just flow of people just flowing in. The benches showing up, doing the fine tuning, getting the bases put in, the foul post stood up, whatever anybody could do to help, that's what we did to do it.
As the field took shape, Sam remained in treatment, fighting to make it to his wish day. A date was set, a game was scheduled. On June 9th, 2007, Sam would return home to Mantachie, taking his first steps onto Ferris Field as the coach of the Mantachie Mud Dogs.
Seeing the people just continue to come in all day is incredible. The bleachers were out there. They were filled up. People had their lawn chairs out there filled up.
They had food. They had a guy from the radio station set up who was playing music and doing announcing and calling the game.
Snow cones, cotton candy, balloons. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
The town was shut down. No one had a funeral that day. No one had a birthday. Everything was closed down. And June 9th, 2007 was devoted for Sam Ferris. And I think that meant a lot to me to see the town as a whole come together just to see me.
I think I cried most of the day. It was really a great feeling to see the support that one kid had.
Though the entire town of Mantachie had shown up in support, Sam was still too sick to play.
He had just finished a really rough series of treatments, a week's worth of chemo that always knocked him down. His counts were 0. He had no immune system. And I said, you know what? God, he's in your hands today. I'm not going to tell him he can't do anything. I want him to have a good time. Just take care of him. And Sam wanted to play. He said, okay, I'm going to coach third base. We're like, okay, that's cool. So the whole game, he stands over by third base and he's coaching. And I'm walking around talking to reporters and people and everything and not really paying any attention. I hear Craig, the announcer, go, and up to bat is Sam Ferris. And you could have heard a pin drop. He hit that ball, and I was like, oh great, now he's gonna have to run. So he makes it to first base. The guys missed it on purpose so he could keep running, and so he made it to second base. And he got to third base, and he stopped, and I thought he wasn't gonna make, I thought he can't take another step because he was so weak. He stepped off of third base, and it was like it was in slow motion from there to home, but he made it. And I've always said that just symbolized to me his turning point of when I knew he was going to be okay.
He was about at his low. He really was. And it rejuvenated him. He perked back up. The work done by the people that put the field up probably changed the outcome of his treatment. I don't know if people realize their individual efforts have such a significant impact. With the way it came off and the way Sam took it, it persuaded him not to give up. I think he was getting pretty close. And he just, after that, he never looked back.
They gave me a new motivation to fight. I needed to get back to the field. They got rid of any negative thoughts that were left and any doubts that I might have had. It was just fight as hard as you can and get through as quick as you can. Don't even worry about the alternative because you've got a reason to make it. You've got to fight for all these people and you got to get back.
With new motivation, Sam continued to fight, little by little growing stronger and healthier. He would return to school, even playing ball again. And on August 25th, 2011, after a 5-year battle, Sam was declared to be in remission.
When I eventually got declared in remission, it didn't really jump out and surprise me because I knew that was going to happen all along. My faith was in the right spot and my head was in the right spot, and I just knew things were going to work out.
We hoped that we would someday be at a point where he was healthy enough just to be with us. But to think he would be able to do the things that he's done, he graduated valedictorian of his class after missing 1.5 years of school. You know, he's gone to Ole Miss and he's doing great at Ole Miss. He's looking forward to going on and doing bigger and better things.
Sky's the limit.
Get on your feet and make some noise! And welcome to the field for the first time in 2015, your Mantachie Mustangs!
Today, Sam is known as the voice of the Mustangs, a passion he discovered while in treatment at St. Jude.
Shallow fly ball, right fielder coming in, and it drops for a base hit. Another run will score, that'll be 2-1 Redbirds.
I love being around the baseball diamond or the football field or the basketball court, having the privilege and the honor to be the guy with the microphone, and that's why I'm here at Ole Miss. That's what I'm majoring in now. That's the dream.
I would give anything in the world if Sam had not had to go through this, but I wouldn't change how it changed me for anything because I'm a better person than I was before.